Starting in 3, 2, 1. Hi everybody, welcome to our weekly broadcast. March 22nd, 2017. Hello Jill, my assistant Jill's in the room. She'll help with questions today. Good morning. Who's here? Hi Katie, hi Kate, hey Anna. Hello, hello. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Linz. Good morning. Where are you guys coming in from? Live for the broadcast. Hi, Melissa over on Facebook Live. Hi, Robin. So awesome to have you guys all in the room live. I don't know why I have a British accent. My girls, when we were in Florida, we would go out to eat and they would pretend that they were British. And they would talk in these accents that made me, oh, all of a sudden I'm Scottish now. Okay, I need to work on my British. Do we have anyone from the UK on by any chance? Don't judge. Good afternoon, depending on where you're calling in, zooming in, scoping in from. So excited to spend the next 30-45 minutes with you guys for our weekly broadcast. We're on Periscope, obviously. We have about 200 people hopping in the room there. And we are on Facebook Live in the Whole Food Essential Oils Facebook group. So welcome everybody, I see you here. And happy first week of spring. This is so exciting. I'm bouncing my attention towards the two screens here. Hope you're all feeling fly and fresh this week. Can you feel the renewal and rebirth happening? I want to kind of crack that topic open for the first 10 minutes of the broadcast before we get into our questions today, whatever questions you have you've brought with you. So if you have a question you want to ask for the broadcast today, maybe just, think about what you want to ask, type it out, get ready to copy and paste it. We just take them live as they come in, and my assistant Jill will capture questions for future broadcasts if we don't get to them today. So if you're brand new to the Scope Live, I do this every Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern, and you can find the stored recordings on Periscope. If you click my profile and click on broadcasts, you'll actually be able to see all the past weekly broadcasts that we've done. If you prefer to look at them on YouTube, I do also upload them to a playlist there. So if spring brings us some rain showers one day and you want to knock off a couple of those episodes, you can find them all on YouTube too. So maybe my girl Jill can post the link to those when she gets a second. My name is Ange Peters. I am the founder of WholeFit. We are a large global community. My WholeFit brand I started about 8 years ago, and about 3 years ago, I began educating and welcoming people into our essential oil community, where we have close to 25,000 essential oilers all over the world as part of our community. And a lot of you here are hopping on, you use essential oils or natural health tools, you love holistic health. And I love to hop on here weekly to give back, to mentor you, whether you're building a wellness business or have questions about your own health. I'm a mom of 2 girls. I am a business owner, obviously. I'm a presidential diamond leader in doTERRA, so I know a thing or two about building doTERRA. So happy to take any questions when we get to the Q&A today around those topics. I missed you guys last week. We were actually doing a family photo shoot. We're soon going to be on the cover of doTERRA's leadership magazine. So we were in Florida at the time, and one of the girls on our doTERRA team, Jess, I don't know if she's on, I know Anna's on, who is her sister-in-law. She's a great photographer there in Jupiter, Florida, and she did our family photo shoot. So we were down on the beach, and just, it was a dream come true, to be honest. It's something that I've had in my mind of what we wanted to do when this time came. So it was super great to be there with our girls and my husband in our happy place. We love it there. Actually, my husband's home today. He might come pop in and share some gems with us today on this topic. How many of you in doTERRA came from leadership this last month? Maybe you went to West Coast or East Coast. I'd love to hear, Mr. WholeFit. He loves when he's called that. My husband's a firefighter, right? So sometimes he'll be on calls and somebody will come up to him and say, "Hey, aren't you WholeFit's husband?" Anyway, so for those of you that attended leadership, East Coast or West Coast, what was your number one takeaway? I know there were lots, but what do you want to share with the group that really hit your heart after attending that leadership retreat, because and this is a retreat doTERRA leads every year, once a year, for all silvers and above, so all of the leaders in doTERRA, couple thousand at both location. My biggest takeaway, and I'm going to share this with my team later today, I'm doing a recap webinar with my frontline leaders for our team. My biggest takeaway was just that doTERRA will be the company that really changes healthcare. If you don't think healthcare needs to change, then you might not be interested in hanging out here on this Periscope. But I think a lot of us can agree, especially if we are mothers, we can agree that where we're currently at and where we're headed, we need help. Our kids deserve us to do more for them. And doTERRA is doing a lot of things right now as the largest essential oil company in the world. They're doing a lot of work right now with hospitals, Johns Hopkins, with a lot of physicians coming on board to learn about essential oils and natural tools. And it's not that the medical community right now doesn't want to learn, it's just that they don't know. And they take years of schooling that is not geared around holistic health, right? So when you go to your doctor today and you need help, you know, often you're not going to have that conversation with your doctor about alternatives. You're looking for something like use it now, work. It's not supporting the body and healing, but it's nipping something that's happened, hopefully. But a lot of us find ourselves in a situation where our current approach within the healthcare model is just not working. We're seeing it more with our kids. I love to practice things in my own body first, and then I pay attention to how the way I'm raising my kids is affecting them. They are our best teachers, and they have, as a collective, they've taught all of us parents that we need to do a better job. So regardless of where you stand on that issue or how you feel about that, I'm very passionate about that, and a lot of what I share is coming from a mom with conviction around this topic. So doTERRA, that was my big takeaway from leadership. I know a lot of you shared on Periscope. I missed some of your comments, but we are retraining the world's collective health approach. Love it. Yeah. So there was just so many nuggets, but that's really what I was excited about. And if you're planning to go to convention, there's going to be a whole framework laid out on the work doTERRA is actually doing with hospitals right now, how to approach your physicians properly. They're actually going to be leading physicians symposiums, which are private to physicians, okay, to different practitioners. And actually right now you can send your practitioners to a certain website. I think it's on the Source to You website, source2.com, where you can actually have your physician get plugged in to get information on when these symposiums are happening. So basically doTERRA's request was, don't go talking to your doctors right now about using essential oils, because it's going to come off as, you know, almost that you're not respecting their current knowledge. You have to handle these delicately. There's a lot of, on the whole, the medical community wants to learn. If you have a good doctor who is still, you know, in practice because he wants to help better the health of his patients, he's going to want to learn, okay? So anyway, that's all coming. Now those tickets for convention, you guys saw they went on sale on Monday. 35,000 tickets released. If they're not sold out yet, there's only a couple hundred. Can you believe that? Have you ever heard of such a thing? It's the largest network marketing convention of its kind, and it's the largest event that the state of Utah ever holds. And so this year doTERRA has actually maxed out the 2 locations. So they not only have the arena where the Utah Jazz play, or whatever they're called. I'm not, if my husband was here, he'd be embarrassed right now. Is it the Utah Jazz? I think it is. So they've maxed out that arena plus the Salt Palace at the convention center. So pretty cool. And actually a lot of people go to convention that aren't even enrolled in doTERRA. They come to just learn the research, because there's a lot of old info out there about essential oils, right? Some of you have come across it. And doTERRA is the company that is pushing all of that forward and really bridging the gap. And I mean, it's interesting because doTERRA is in the network marketing model of business, because they work through people like me to educate and impact, and like many of you. But they're not like any other network marketing company. In fact, there is no competition within the industry for doTERRA. The real competition for doTERRA is who? Who do you think the real competition would be for a company as massive as doTERRA? If you're at leadership, you know this answer. Yeah, big pharma. So, you know, that really is the shift that's starting to happen. Is we're seeing, you're going to see big pharma get really loud over the next couple of years because their business is changing. There's a lot of people who have realized that's not the path. Excuse me. All right, pardon the trolls, you guys on Periscope. Sorry, we've got some of these guys in the room. They'll be gone soon. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about this morning was the power of the seasons and what nature teaches us through its cycle of seasons, and we can learn so much from nature. For many of you that use essential oils, you know that nature knows a lot of things. You know, we tend to get in the way of our own healing, and when we use something like essential oils, which if you're using a pure brand like doTERRA, complete magic from nature, the complete source, which provides radical support for our bodies. And you know, nature, I love the cues that nature gives us through the seasons, which just naturally happen, right? And I love spring. When I think of spring, I think of renewal and rebirth and taking a fresh approach within our life. Albert Einstein, I wrote down a few quotes for you guys today. I was looking up quotes about nature. And Albert Einstein said, "Look deep into nature and you will understand everything better." And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "If we adopt the pace of nature, we will have more patience." So I love that everything has a season, you know, and if we look at just, you know, spring is really about everything that you've been doing for the last 6 months really starts to come into fruition. So all those seeds you've been planting, whether that's in your health, in your relationships, in your business, they all start to take shape, to start to come up and have roots, right? And show their beautiful buds in our life. So what I thought I would encourage you to do today is in this first week of spring, think about the seeds that you've been planting over the last 6 months. Think about where you've been putting your focus and perhaps what your goals have been. And you've probably been making these real small shifts, like on the outside to somebody looking at your life, they might not actually notice a change. But and maybe you don't even notice a change yet because of your efforts, but if you actually look at where your focus has been, steady and consistently and patiently, what's going to all of a sudden now bud up for you in this next season of your life? This morning, as part of my personal development time, I was listening to the chapter on the law of the environment. It's John Maxwell's book, The 15 Laws of Growth. I don't know if any of you are currently reading that or listening to that. But a couple of notes I jotted down that he said was that at some point there comes a need to change your environment in order to grow. So what I love to do when we're approaching a new season, it's a real fresh opportunity to take stock of the different elements that paint our total health picture, right? So we have emotional health, spiritual health, our relationships, social, right? And then we have our physical health. And he actually says in this chapter that if you try to just change yourself without changing your environment, your growth is going to be super slow. But if you add changes in your environment to support the changes that you're trying to make, then you will be on the fast track to growth. You will continue to have growth in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in all those areas. So if you're taking notes on today's scope, I want you to write down those different categories of your life. And if you, Virginia, it's the 15 Laws of Growth by John Maxwell. If you tuned into my Beautiful Life Blueprint session that I did at the start of this year, I went through the wheel of your life and the different parts of that wheel. So what we went through there was really thinking about this coming year and where you wanted to create shifts, right? So those categories, again, are physical health, emotional health, social health, and spiritual health. And then actually I'd like you to make a section for environment, for just thinking about what you need to actually change in your actual environment to create these smaller changes, okay? So I thought I'd share with you guys what I love to do in spring in these 4 areas. So physical health, what my body starts to feel it wants more of is running. I love to get outside. Now we've been in Florida, so I did a lot more running there. But I love to be outdoors. So maybe some of you like hiking, walking in nature, doing something that gets you outside and shaking it up. Maybe you've been doing a lot of CrossFit or lifting weights or hot yoga in the winter. And this is one area you might want to look at is what small change can you make in how you're moving your body. Maybe under the physical realm, it's actually your nutrition. You might notice yourself being drawn more towards raw food, plant-based foods. This is actually quite normal to crave different foods with different seasons. And maybe you get out to your farmers markets more. Maybe you actually schedule, because what we schedule is real. What we schedule is what usually ends up happening. So maybe you schedule Saturday morning at the market so you can get more local food. How about emotional health? So one of the things that's been on my heart is my daughters are at an age where their emotions are, all over the place. My girls are both 5 and 7, going through a lot of things at school. So I want to have more time with them where where I'm device free, where we can just sit together and talk. And so I'm going to actually schedule in dates with my daughters to really help have those conversations. Socially, my husband and I are going to plan a long weekend away. Just he and I, we've had a lot of time with the kids this winter. We've been like all in, all they've known. So we're craving a little break there, right? So we're going to schedule a long weekend away with my girlfriends. I want to make sure we've got time every month, something to do. We actually, towards the end of this month, we're getting together to make, with this botanic lab in London, we're going to make these, oh my goodness, what are they called? The little gardens. I'm losing my words here. The little traniums, there it is. We're gonna make traniums together and get together, and I just wanna make sure I have something with them because I miss them. I've been traveling a lot with my business. So that is gonna fill up my social cup. And then spiritually, we've been so grateful to have purchased an infrared sauna, something that we were saving for a while, and we have one in our home now, and I want to spend at least 30 minutes a day in there doing my either listening to a spiritual audiobook or something that just really elevates my mindset in the morning. So I've been making time for that daily. Now, environmentally, how many of you love to change up your home? Think about your environment where you live. Maybe your office needs a revamp so that it's a space that you actually want to come into every day to work. I love to redecorate. I'm excited to plant our garden this year. We did our backyard last year for the first time, new furniture, window coverings, things like that. So I'm looking at all these things. I love the freshness that this brings. So I wanted to, hey Ash, she's been cleaning out her drawers. Yes, I love doing that too. Looking through all the products you own. You're probably, most of you, on a journey of getting rid of a lot of the products you own and making your own if you are in this essential oil lifestyle. So great time to do that. Excuse me, I feel like I keep losing my voice. Okay, so the last thing I was going to leave you with on this topic, how many of you would like a fresh diffuser blend to go with the theme of what we're feeling this week? I posted this last year around this time. It was my custom renewal blend. These are the 4 oils you're going to need. If you're just doing it in a small room, like 600, I look like Ivanka Trump. Strange. If you're just doing it in a typical room size, 600 square feet, you're going to use this ratio, okay? 2 drops of wild orange, 1 drop each of sandalwood, patchouli, and ylang ylang. Now you could double that if you're diffusing it in a large open space. So you would do 4 drops of orange and then 2 each of sandalwood, patchouli, and ylang ylang. So give that a try. Let me know what you think. I actually have it going right now. So if only you were able to smell through the screen. Oh, thank you, Rose. Okay. Let me see if I can keep my voice. I hope so. I have to do another Zoom this afternoon with my team. So what questions do we have this week? If I don't see your question, please copy paste. What type of floor is good by a deck that goes out to the pool? High trafficked room? I have no idea. Not my Not my genius. Let me check Facebook, see if you guys have posted any questions here. You guys can post on Facebook Live if you want. I can see your questions pop up right away. There are 5 papers that are just about to be published that doTERRA has been working on. They're pretty incredible, the topics. Johns Hopkins is in the last stage as well. All of these things take a lot of time before something actually gets published in an unbiased way. It takes a lot of time, has to go through a lot of different checks and balances, right? Where did I learn about the individual oils? Great question. So I've shared my resources with you guys on past scopes. Here's the book I recommend everyone gets, okay? The Essential Life. Now this is last year's copy. There's a new one that just came out. Absolutely get a copy of this book. If you have purchased a kit of oils, this is gonna make that kit work a million different ways, okay? So keep your questions, guys. I see a lot of great ones coming in, and I'm not gonna be able to remember all your questions, so copy and get ready to paste them again. So resource books are so important. This is one of my favorite ones because it is beautiful, looks nice on your coffee table, really easy to find what you're looking for. So in the beginning, it talks about every oil and blend, okay? And then it goes into specific topics. So if you're looking for ways to, how do I get my screen up here? There we go. If you're looking for ways to support cellular health or your children, or how to detoxify using your essential oils, every topic, skin health, cleaning, cooking with oils, parasites, pregnancy, everything's in here. So I'm showing you this because this is essential. The other thing I love is having an app. There's a couple I want to recommend. One is called the Modern Essentials, which I think is about $7. But doTERRA has an app called the Daily Drop, which has almost 200 2-minute videos, all about oils. So that one I think is free, or maybe it's $2, I can't remember. But get yourself tools to use your tools, okay? Super important. Now, one of the things I'm really big on, those of you in our Whole Fit community know this, I'm passionate about building community and culture. And so we have, a couple hundred people hopping in and out of this in our Facebook Live group. This is a private essential oil community that I started. It has right now almost 12,000 people in it, all, part of our team. And a lot of you, if you don't have your own group, somebody in your upline has a group, okay? So get plugged into what Facebook groups are there, because those are phenomenal support. And I mean, this is when we talk about the value, when you purchase doTERRA essential oils through somebody, you're not just getting the oils, you're also getting that person. You're tapping into a whole culture and community that you would never get off a shelf, right? It is actually the most incredible experience to be surrounded by people in groups like this that are using essential oils. My group is it's a private group for my team, but it's Whole Fit Essential Oils. So if you're on our team, absolutely ask your upline. We'll get you added. If you're not, just talk with your upline. They will have a group, okay? So that's how. And to be honest, every day when I was reaching for a product, I would ask myself, I wonder if this is something I could use an essential oil for. I would grab my book and find out. There is no lack of resources today. It's just a lack of being resourceful. That's perhaps why people don't grow in their health or in their business. They're not taking action on what they know, and they're not being resourceful. So get your hands on one of these books, The Essential Life, or get an app, or go to doTERRA is an education company. I mean, they have tons of resources on their website, and Daily Drop was that app that I mentioned. Pamela asked, is there an oil for helping with weight loss? So that's an interesting question, because it's not wise to approach essential oils thinking it's a be-all end-all for a certain thing, right? It's a tool you use in conjunction with other things you're doing. But I will tell you that for a lot of people, they sabotage their nutrition in the afternoons. Usually around 3 o'clock, their body starts to crash, and that's when they're reaching for a lot of unhealthy snacks. This happens again at night. So what a lot of people do to have success with this is they will add an oil called Slim and Sassy, which is a metabolic blend, which helps with your appetite because it has cinnamon, which helps with blood sugar, citrus oils, ginger, and peppermint. They might add 1 or 2 drops to a liter of water and drink that before they make a poor choice around nutrition. You might sub in, a healthy mixed smoothie. There are different changes you can make using something as simple as peppermint oil. Very energizing and cleansing. I will often put it on my temples, back of my neck, if I need to just, liven up. But a lot of the time when people are struggling with the weight, it's because of some sort of a connection around their food habits, their choices, right? So it's best if you can not take away, but add in until you're ready to take away, if that makes sense. So absolutely use your oils. Alternative to peppermint for someone who's nursing, spearmint is great, or wild orange, if you're looking for something just to liven up. Can I speak to the value of getting to Dominican Republic? Okay, so this is somebody in doTERRA who's talking about the doTERRA has a special trip every year just for people to come and have fun and hang out on the beach. You can win the trip if you're building doTERRA. It's extremely valuable because it's one of the only trips where you're going to get to spend time with people you love in doTERRA and the owners on the beach playing volleyball, having fires. It's super fun. There's usually, I think, about 1,000 people that go, and doTERRA rents out a space. So it's a great trip. It is just for connection. It's one of the trips I usually go on every other year because I have a lot of travel at this stage, but yeah, it's a phenomenal trip. Excuse me, I'm like losing my voice here. I'm a chiropractor. What are my best first steps to incorporate oils into my business? So what a lot of the successful chiropractors have done in doTERRA is they just start, they have it there in their studio. I don't know if you have a retail section within your clinic. If you do, then that's a great first opportunity to add doTERRA in for sale. So you can apply to sell it. Your clients will see it as they come in, and then you can also offer it to them during their adjustment. So there are a couple of top oils that chiropractors tend to use. Deep Blue topically for supporting any pain in the body. For the immune system, a lot of chiropractors will use oregano or melaleuca or On Guard on the bottoms of feet when their clients come in, because a lot of clients come in for adjustments when their immune system is down. Diffusing in the clinic is a really great way for spas as well, or yoga studios. So it's really about creating an exposure from the minute they walk in the door, right through treatment. And usually what happens is clients come in and they love the feeling of Deep Blue during their adjustment, right? So then they will ask how to get started. They can just purchase it off your retail wall, or you can offer them the wholesale customer account. Wintergreen is so great after an adjustment. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. If you guys want to comment on these topics and share, your experience, whether you're a chiropractor yourself or if you go to one. Okay, so with your questions, please don't ask about oils you can use for ailments or diseases. Structure your questions around the body system they support. Can I do an eyebrow tutorial? You guys have probably seen me without my makeup. I post pictures and do videos from time to time that way. I have like no eyebrows because I overplucked when I was 16. So I just, I kind of do like a pencil powder gel kind of situation. Your chiro is scent free. Are you meaning he's opposed to using essential oils because of aroma, or he doesn't use toxic fragrance? Oh, thank you. Eyebrows really change a face, don't they? All right, what other questions do you guys have? Ways to encourage people to show up to classes. How do I explain price difference between store oils versus doTERRA? Okay, ways to get people to show up and price difference. So to get people to show up to classes, first of all, you're working with basically a ratio of thirds. If you invite 10 people to your class, 3 will show up, okay? That's just kind of the law of how it goes. So you want to invite a lot more people than you expect to have attend, okay? So first of all, now when you're inviting people, an amateur would just throw up an invitation on Facebook and expect the world to come. A pro would reach out to people one-on-one, and they might say something like, I'm holding this beautiful essential oil class in my home next week, and I keep thinking about you. I know how much you would love these oils. Are you free Thursday at 7 o'clock? I'd so love to see you and teach you about these oils. And you do that one-on-one with people. And the key to creating momentum in your business is to have weeks or months where you're teaching. Where I see people stall is when they just do a class here and there, or just like one a month, if that. Where you get massive momentum is with that focus and doing the same thing quite a bit, like a tight bubble of classes. What a lot of new builders do is they'll teach like 4 classes in 1 week, right when they get started. So they really get into their flow and rhythm, and they reflect on that, and they learn, and they tweak, and they do it again the next month. Or you could do 1 a week every month, but you get in that momentum. And here's the key. When you're at your classes, you always create that opportunity for people to host a class, you know, where you will come to their home and teach their friends and family. Because again, you're creating a beautiful experience of learning for people at your class. This isn't a party. Don't call it a party. Ugh, ugh. I would not attend anything if someone was like, hey, you want to come to my Tupperware party? No, I don't. But I would be very interested in coming to an education session on how I can better my own life and the life of my family, which I love dearly. So if you approach this in a way where you speak about your intention behind teaching these classes with that person you're inviting, you're going to have a lot more people show up. Now, you know, yes, you can incentivize people to come. You might do something. One of the things I love to recommend to my team is if you're going out to teach a class for a host, for somebody else, so not in your own space, create a Facebook event for that class and have them add the people that have said they are going to come to the Facebook event so you can get to know this group before you show up at that house. You might introduce yourself in there. You might show them a real quick, like your favorite doTERRA sourcing video and how you're so excited to come and teach them. And you might even say, I really want to make sure that I tailor the information I teach to be exactly what you're wanting to learn. So please, in the comments below, introduce yourself and what you're most looking to learn at this class. And I would love to create a little package just for you for when you come. And maybe that package is an intro guide and 1 or 2 samples for them to go home with, okay? That maybe wouldn't come in a kit they're going to enroll with. And a key thing at your class, you guys have heard me say this before, hold space for people that aren't ready. That's okay. The goal of a class is not to just enroll all these people. The goal is to educate and plant those seeds. There are people who are going to come to your class that they are ready to make a life change like right now. However, you know, if someone comes to your class and that's the first time they've ever heard about essential oils, they're likely not going to enroll unless they're very drawn to your message, okay? So those are my thoughts on inviting. You need to stay in the practice of inviting too. You need to do it daily, okay? If you're a pro in your business, you are reaching out to at least 2 people every day to invite them to your next class or event or webinar. You're picking people every day. Excuse me. Could you please advise on how to deal with squatters? People who don't work but love the cash. Okay. So let's remove squatter from our definition for, or squatter from our vocabulary, just for a moment. And I'd like you to consider that someone who you're identifying as a squatter in your business at some point joined you, likely early in your journey, and you placed them in a key spot on your team for some reason. Those reasons are always one of two things. Either they said they wanted to build and then didn't do anything, or you never really had that clear conversation and just started putting people under them. In either scenario, let it go. That person that joined with you early on in your business shared a part of the reason you're where you are today. If you carry resentment or negative energy towards that person, you're going to stall in your business. I recommend that you build this business with heart, you build it with beautiful energy, you serve your team. The people that are going to really change their life, live their dream, be able to serve people in a bigger way, they are going to recognize what an incredible business this is, and they're going to do it regardless of you. And you need to let go of this handcuffing that you're doing in your business to people. Because you're not. Focus on you. Focus on your own game. Focus on how you can serve yourself first, development, right? Mindset, health, physical health, using your oils, creating experiences every day that put you in an opportunity that you're inspired to share. And then get out there and get oils on people and help them, and stop focusing on the people on your team that aren't doing anything. Your growth is not going to happen because of your team. It's going to happen because of you. That's what we talk about when we talk about ownership in your life, in your business. You don't look up, you don't look down, you look forward. And I highly recommend that you approach your team through a lens of love, that you look at every person on your team as they're all part of this journey with you. Be grateful for those that started early on, and most importantly, let this be everyone's own journey. There are people that are going to join your team, and they might say, you know what? I'm going diamond in 8 months. I'm so excited. I'm going to build this stunning business. And you leave them on your front line, even though you're kind of like, I don't know if they're going to really build. And it turns out that was a mistake because they don't end up doing anything. Well, guess what? This is their journey, not yours. It's not yours to control. And, people are going to surprise you. People surprise me every day on my team. People that, oh my goodness, a couple years ago, I never would have pinned them as the diamond leaders that they are today. But they were committed and consistent to their growth. They stayed in momentum. They didn't focus on things their team weren't doing. They didn't focus on the fact that their upline didn't give them anybody on their team. They didn't focus on what they couldn't do. They constantly approached their business with, what can I do? What problem can I solve? How can I just get out there and help other people? And they're diamond leaders now. And I honestly would not have ever thought, because of who they were. But this business, if you're building a doTERRA business, you're lucky. You're so fortunate, because this is a business about becoming a better person and helping other people do the same. And that's it. And some people just aren't ready. That's okay, right? So, I used to feel that. I get you. I get, there's a couple people, even within my own organization, they're getting, they're collecting pretty sweet, and they know it, and they're not doing anything, and they're not serving their team, they're not helping their team. I just know the rule of that. I know that doesn't work out for people like that. If they're willing to just take and get without giving, it does not work. It will always come back to bite. It just does. You cannot get ahead in life. You cannot live an abundant life if you have an attitude of, what can I get? Okay? So know that and focus on your own game and be about serving. Serve other people. Keep yourself inspired. If you're focused on this low level kind of stuff, you're not in a place of abundance. You're not going to be inspired. Yeah, absolutely. Hold them in the light, focus on positive, and you're going to go far if you do that. Do I know if all of the roller bottles have switched to metal tops? Don't you guys love how we like flip-flop from deep to light? It's kind of fun. Yes, they all are transitioning. I know I got an On Guard. Most of the touch rollers have switched over. The blends, right? Clary Calm came to me last month with a stainless roller. They're all switching. Jenny Glyden asked about, I think your question was how to deal with doTERRA pricing versus what you buy at the store. So my number one thing for that is to understand that what something costs is not the value of it. And I just kind of jammed on this a few minutes ago. When somebody buys a doTERRA wholesale account through you, they are unlocking a whole journey and a whole community there to support them with that purchase. It's not just about the cost of the oil kit they just purchased, right? It's opening this whole new world for them. And I've talked about this a lot, but what do you think people are more willing today to invest in than anything else? They want to invest in something that brings true value to their life, not things. We're tired of things. We want connection. We want community. We want to feel part of something with people who add value to our life. And this is one of the best ways to do that for people. I think about our oil community and our business group that we have. I have 2 separate groups, and I know that this is one of the only places in someone's day where they're being uplifted and encouraged and recognized in their life. I know that. I know how powerful that is, and I guard that. And, hey.
Any questions?
Bring your questions for Chris. He's here for probably how long?
2 or 3 minutes.
2 or 3 minutes. So build value in what you're offering through that. People cannot buy that off a shelf. And then there's the whole quality issue, right? There's a lot happening in the essential oil world. I mean, Best Buy, the dollar store, craft stores, grocery stores, health food stores, everybody's selling essential oils now because they're watching doTERRA. They're like, well, if they did it and they're so successful, I gotta jump in. But they can't duplicate the culture and the quality in doTERRA. They can't. No one will. Like I said, there is no essential oil company that is competition for doTERRA. There just isn't. Similar to, think of a product or a brand like Apple. Apple has no competition. Okay, no competition. Yes, there's a lot of people who sell computers. There's a lot of brands or companies, but nobody does it the way Apple does it. Okay, so if you're in doTERRA and sharing doTERRA, what you need to help people understand is what they're actually having access to when they get started with the oils. Cannot buy that off the shelf, and you will never find quality like you'll find in doTERRA. So talk about that a lot more. Is there a difference in rolling someone internationally versus locally? No. Some countries in doTERRA are called global access. And those countries, you cannot ship directly from doTERRA to them. They have to actually have a friend or family member in the US or Canada that's going to ship the product to them. So, but there are a whole lot of international markets that are open. You're welcome. Hey babe, come on in. Someone asked, husband's leaving the army to work the business with her. Any advice?
Good afternoon. What is it?
Her husband's leaving the army to build doTERRA with her. What advice would you have for someone who's leaving like their full-time gig, which you haven't done, but have thoughts on, right?
Well, first thing I would say is for him, like he better be 100% sure this is what he wants to do. That's the first thing I would say. Is like if he's going to be all in and this is what he wants to do, and it's not pressure coming from somewhere else, then it's pretty simple. Oh, sorry. It's pretty simple, actually.
Look at both.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. If he's 100% in, and this is what he wants to do, and it's not something that he's getting pressured into or feels that he has to do because you want him to, then go for it. Just follow the steps that you're going to take to do it. I mean, I can't, go, if you guys are going to be a team and go all in. There's no real answer to say how he's going to do the business compared to how you're going to do the business. But I would just say, most importantly, just make sure that he wants to leave his job to do this. And other than that, then you guys will find your way to do it.
Yeah, there are quite a few couples in doTERRA at the diamond rank and above who's, that question's next for you, who, their goal was to retire their husband because the job didn't fulfill him. So to Chris's point, I think the most important conversation is, how are you going to feel fulfilled within the doTERRA business, right? What lights you up? What do you want to do? I know in my upline, Kyle and Kirsten, some of you might know them. She was doing the business. He was in online marketing. When she was a silver, he quit that to join her. And he's like a PowerPoint ninja. If there's ever anything being launched, he's creatively coming up with PowerPoints. And he loves doing the online marketing piece. Whereas she's much more the shoulder to shoulder, doing the classes in person. She's not as visible online, okay? So that's how they made that work. I've seen it not work for couples, where he leaves his job and all of a sudden becomes Mr. Mom at home. And that's not good, right? This is all about being fulfilled and living your purpose. And you can absolutely do this together. I think a key thing, like if, Chris is on the fire department, and if he did this full time with me, I can see the need for us to honor this as a business and to separate it so that it doesn't make its way into our relationship where it's all we would ever talk about, like you do when you're a parent, right? So I think a tip I would have for you is have business meetings once a week.
Just treat it like a business between you two, and then have your hours where you're doing a business and have your hours when you're parents or your husband and wife or and you live a normal life. Like I said, as long as your husband's 100% all in of leaving his job and this is what he wants to do, then good. Like, just treat it like a business and do your thing. There's no real answer to give you to say how to do the business. So
no, there is no one way. Even the way that I feel I've built my business wasn't shown or taught to me in that sense. Like I just built it the way my heart was kind of leading me. So you can do that as a couple. There were a couple questions about convention. Do you think it's important for husbands to go?
100%. If you can get your husband to go, actually I shouldn't even say if you can get your husband to go, make your husband go to convention.
Make him?
Yeah, make him go to convention.
Any tips on how to make our husbands go?
No, I have no tips for that. But
kidnap them.
If this is important for you to go to convention, bring your husband or your boyfriend along, or whoever your significant other is. Bring them along. Only reason being is they will have their eyes open to what this company does and how they work and what they do for the world. And if your husband or whoever is like 80% on board with you doing this, 20% on board with you doing this, he will be 100% on board after doing this, or you doing the business and going to convention. The one other thing I will say is you can 100% guarantee, tell them that when they go there, it's not a rah, we're so great, this is the company we are, we're the best, we do this. Really, there isn't a lot of business talk there. It's more of like just letting you know who they are. They're presenting themselves to you. They're not trying to sell you on anything. They're not trying to make themselves look like the number one company in the world and we are the best and you guys are the best. All that rah stuff, there's none of it there. They have great presenters. There's a lot of great information. And getting back to the original point, if you want to do this business, make your husband go, or your wife or your girlfriend or whoever, make them go, and they will have their eyes open, and I guarantee you 100% they will be on board fully. Oh, Sean Brown, my man.
That's hilarious. Sean Brown's in our oil group.
Yeah. Sean Brown is my best friend. Introduce yourself, Sean. Sean's a guy I grew up with since we were like 7 or 8 years old, and he wasn't a very good hockey or baseball player. I was always better than him, and he still gets very jealous. So,
even though one was in the NHL and one wasn't.
Yeah. All right.
Not him. What a treat. Oh my gosh. Okay. Keep your comments to a minimal there, Sean. All right. Let's do 2 more questions. Do you have any questions for Mr. Holf?
All right.
Tips on breaking into a town that is dominated by Young Living. Do you want me to take that one?
You can do it after.
I'll do it now. I'll make that my last start.
Yeah, I would just say, who cares? Who cares who's dominating what? Like, just keep pressing forward and do your thing. Don't worry about anything to the left or the right of you. Just keep going forward and just keep moving. Don't worry about what Young Living's doing or this person's doing or that person's doing. Everyone's different. And you know what? If you use that as an excuse to not do it, then that's all it is. It's an excuse. Do you really want to look at yourself in the mirror and go, I didn't do the business because this town's dominated by such and such. Nah, just keep pressing forward and do your thing. Don't worry about it. Everything else will fall into place. So with that, I'm going to go. Sean, if you're still there, love you, brother.
Always leave on a high, right, people? Young Living. I don't even know where to go with that question. But, I will say this. I have some very dear friends who are in Young Living, and at some point in time, that opportunity looked amazing to them. I do think they have some oils that are incredible. I have to be careful here. My absolute feeling on that company, and I've this topic has come up many times. If you're on our team, I can send you kind of a document of research I did on both companies before I got started. But I want to handle this delicately. Culture is so important, as well as the ownership of a company, the people at the top of the company. And if you want to understand what a company's culture is, look at the people at the top. So with doTERRA, you would look at the 7 executives who began doTERRA versus the one at the top of Young Living. What you will find is a very questionable history with the one at the top of Young Living, okay? That's it's so important, you guys, because what happens at the top bleeds through an entire organization. And so what you'll also notice is, and like I said, I have some sweet dear friends that are in Young Living, okay? They're not super high up in that company. However, I think they would have done things differently if they had waited a year. Now, what you also will want to look at is the kinds of people that are being attracted to each company separately. The kinds of leaders. I would look at the quality of the presidential diamonds at the top. I'm one of, I think, 35 presidential diamonds in doTERRA. It's a very different feeling between the two companies. And I've talked about this on past broadcasts. I don't want to go too long on this topic, but I think the most important thing, your question was what to do if you're in an area that is saturated with Young Living. It's time for you to bring the light. Okay? You're the one who's going to bring it to that area. I would welcome that challenge. I would welcome it. I would just be visible. I would invite them to your classes. Because here's the thing, even from a business opportunity numbers perspective, Young Living's business is not growing in the same way doTERRA's is. In only 8 years, they blew past Young Living, okay? So the numbers speak. doTERRA is now the largest essential oil company in the world, highest quality oils. There's a lot of metrics you could look at to indicate that you have something that whole community is going to be interested in, okay? Especially if you have longtime essential oil users who would love to build a wellness business helping other people. They're not going to want to stay there, okay? So that, it really, I think Chris kind of spoke to that issue well. If you decide to look at that as a reason to hold you back, someone else will move into your community in doTERRA and will win that whole community over. So why not be you? You have to know what you're a part of. I mean, I love getting to these conversations with people because I know what I'm a part of, and I have a grounded enthusiasm about what I'm a part of. I don't need to prove anything. I can hold court, hold space very well with people who have opposing opinions, because by the end of the conversation, their minds have changed because of the energy I keep during that conversation. So I would work on your own confidence in what you're doing and understand what you have, and don't pay attention around. Don't look up, down, left, right. Just keep your eyes focused forward. All right. So I think we're gonna hop off, call it. We're coming up to an hour. So really fun to be with you guys. Lots of good questions this week and on the topic of spring. And I'd encourage you just to take a little time in quiet, right? And spend some time thinking about what are just some small shifts you want to make with the start of a new season in your health. Health is wealth. Look at the different components of what make up your beautiful life and what you want to change a little bit. It doesn't have to be radical, but make those small changes that maybe only you know about, but they're meaningful to you. So yeah, great. I'm glad you were on live. That's awesome. I'll upload the recording shortly, and Facebook crew, it will show the video stays there always, right? So you can always find them there. Great. Awesome, Rhonda. You're the Chiro who's looking to start. Great. You're going to love it. It's a great way to add value to your clients. All right. Peace out. See you guys next week.